Okay, so if you're tuning in at home, I was just informing everybody that this is our off week, or easier week, or mobility week, or non-standard week. What other words do we have to describe it? I don't know. But yeah, we'll be doing a little bit more stretching, a little bit more mobility, some balance stuff later on in the week. Brian, your spot's already made up for you over here. Bill's later than you, so he gets demoted. But today will be a little bit shorter, and then we also won't really have like a, you'll see, we'll just blend into it. So we'll just kind of walk right into it as we go. So it'll be more of a progression than it will strict, like this is your workout, this is what we're going through. So the first thing we're gonna start off with today, most of our mobility goes through everything. I was trying to think if I could, we can start it. I guess even if it's an off week, we can't negate the prayer hands. I was trying to think if I could pare down what we're doing today, but I really can't into like a broader term. And then we'll go backwards. How was traveling the world? Figure eights? You stayed? Okay. Yeah. There's plenty of people that would take a whole week vacation to go to those two places. So even though you didn't have to travel to get there, I'd still consider it a good escape. That's nice. That's fun. Alrighty. So from here, we're going to do a side bend. The thing about the side bend is we want everything to stay pretty neutral side to side. We don't want to see you bending forward as you do this or bending back. We want to see you just coming straight over the top. Whenever you get to your end point, just go ahead and bring it back across. And then go ahead and switch to the other side. But we want to see each time, and we'll still do our 4 rounds like normal, but we want to see each time, we want to see you reach a little bit farther, get a little more mobility right there through that side bend. The next one we're going to do today is hand lift off. So you can interlock your hands, or you can just grab your hands behind your back. And then what you're going to do from there, you're going to keep your chest nice up and tall, and then you're just going to lift your hands off. I don't want to see you rounding forward. I don't want to see anybody bending over either, but just strictly chest up, shoulders back, lifting those hands off as far as you can. You should feel this kind of coming through the back and then pushing through the front of the shoulder. If you can only do it on one side, feel free. Just do this. If you have like a shoulder surgery or shoulder injury, feel free to do that. Then we'll move into our toe excursion. So we're pretty fortunate here. We have lines on the floor, but pick a line that you're standing on, stand on one foot, and then reach out and see which line you can get to, and then come back up. You don't want to be touching that foot to the ground though. You want to be standing on one foot the whole time. So you're just sliding that foot just above the ground and see if you can reach farther than you did last time. Do 5 reps on one side and then switch on over the other side. If you want to use the wall for balance or use this rail, you're welcome to. Try not to use that railing or the wall too much though. See how few fingers you can put on it. And then go ahead and switch on over if you haven't already. Again, even though this is just mobility stuff, we want to make sure that knee that we're standing on, we want to make sure it's nice and locked in place. Can't let it wobble around, can't let ourselves go knock-kneed or anything. Good. And then this one's kind of fun because this one can actually help you. So not that the other ones can't, but this is like a proper treatment style for people. So this one, you're gonna take your hands, palm forwards, and you're gonna raise your right arm, and just raise it as high as you want to. Feel how it feels, okay? Then compare it to the left arm. If you do the same thing on the left arm, which one feels better, which one feels worse? Like, which one's yummy, which one's yucky? Take the yummy or the good one, and you're gonna do 10 times on that side. Still controlled, still same movement. We're not rushing through it. We're not changing anything about it. We're just doing 10 of them. And then go ahead and raise that yucky one again and see if it changes anything for you. Most of you, it probably does. If it doesn't, do 10 more. If it does change it for the better, do 10 more anyways. Very good. Then retest it. Does it feel any less yucky? Does it feel any less pinchy, less restricted? Perfect. Now, this is why you need your ab mat. You're gonna kneel on your ab mat. I encourage you, I'm gonna steal this one for a second. I encourage you to kneel at the front of it, so almost like your knee is kind of falling off the front. That way you're not putting as much pressure on your kneecap. It's a little more comfortable. But from here, we're gonna keep everything nice and tall. Keep those hips forward. So starting position is hip forward, squeezing those glutes, chest up. From there, you're gonna put your heel down in front of you, and you're gonna rock back towards your back heel, straightening out that leg. So you should feel a pull through your hamstring. If you need to move over to the wall, you're more than welcome to. But you should just feel a stretch here, rock back forward, and then push those hips forward and get a stretch through your hip flexor in the front. So rock back, get a stretch through that hamstring on that front foot, rock up, get a stretch through the hip flexor on the down knee. Go ahead and switch on over. So in all of these, try to remember how you feel. And then next round, see how you feel again. And you'll probably notice as you go through it, they become a little easier. Or you're able to move a little bit farther. Very good. The next move today is going to be on all fours. So just like we've practiced before, keeping that core engaged, keeping the back flat. We don't want to see any sagging. We don't want to see any arching. But from here, you're going to put one hand behind your back, just on the small of your back, and you're going to twist. So you're opening up. The key here is we want it to be a true rotation. We don't want to see you trying to like cheat just with your arm. I don't care how far your arm goes. I care how far your chest and your torso can go. So you're twisting from the head, chest, opening up that chest all the way to the wall. You'll do same side. And then go ahead and switch sides. Make sure you start that rotation with your head. Very good. Now, you notice a progression here. We're just kind of working our way to the ground. We're gonna go into side lying. These are called side lying alligators. So hands out front like an alligator. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take that top hand and you're gonna keep everything in line here. So it's not about your arm motion, but as you keep everything in line, you're just gonna open up. So keep that same angle at your shoulder and open up. Whenever you can't rotate anymore, just come back. You should be able to keep those knees together. You should be able to keep that hand in the same rotation or same angle up to your chest. So as soon as you have to move that shoulder angle, just come back to neutral. You're welcome to use your ab mat as a pillow. Just don't fall asleep. Very good. Switch on over the other side. Man, who needs a chiropractor when you have this one? I've gotten about 3 pops over here. It's quite nice. Again, you can lead this one with your head. Good. And the last move, we're on our stomachs. This one's called Cobra if you're in the yoga world, and you're just pressing up. Here we want to extend through the chest, through the stomach. We want to keep everything as open as possible. Once you get to the top, lower yourself back down, and then go back up. Hold for a second, opening through the abs, through the chest. Come back down. Try to press into the ground, relaxing those shoulders down. Try not to be shrugging your shoulders up to your ears. Good. And then we'll work our way back up to our feet. And we'll start over at the top again. Perfect. So, hand overhead. Just bending to the side. This one we really want to feel it down the side of the abs, even into the hips a little bit, up into the shoulder. And then go ahead and switch sides. This is what we should have done Thursday for our abs. Hands on your back. You're just gonna lift off here. Like I said, if your shoulder bothers you, go ahead and just do one at a time. As soon as you feel the need for those shoulders to roll forward, or that head to go forward, or you need to bend, just come back. It's all about the shoulder, all about the pecs here. Very good. Now into that toe excursion. Pick your line. See how far out you can get it. We're really trying to work on the ankle range of motion on that foot you're balancing on here. So when you feel that ankle get to the very front of its range of motion, that's where we're trying to get to. Go ahead and switch sides. For that next one we're gonna do is the arm raise. It is okay if the one that felt good is different this time, and the one that feels bad is different this time. That's okay. Very good. Going into arm raises. Check yourself. Which one feels better? Which one feels worse? Whichever one feels better. Do 10 on that side, then check yourself again. There's a whole treatment method that is just based off of doing this. So you do a motion and you compare it to the other side, and whichever one's easier, you just do it on the easy side and it changes the other side. And it has also been proven to be a pretty good warm-up actually for athletics, like for baseball players or something, to do baseball-specific movements on opposite sides. Now we're going to that kneeling one. So you're down on your knee, one foot out in front. Depending on how far back you want to sit, you can bring that foot in. Like, so see, now I can sit down really far. Or if I bring it out, now all of a sudden I can't really sit down very far at all. So if you're struggling with the balance through the transition, I encourage you to start really far out here, and then pretty much all I can do is just bring my toe up. If that makes sense. And then I can still stretch my hip flexor. So at the top, make sure you're pausing to stretch the hip flexor. At the bottom, make sure you're pausing to stretch through your hamstring and even just the nerves running down the back of your hamstring. Good. Go ahead and switch sides. Keeping that chest up as long as you can. I know it'll increase the stretch down your hamstring, but we want to stay straight. We want to maximize that stretch. I don't care if you're getting a stretch right here, or even if it's here, that's good. We just want to be pushing ourselves at whatever limit it is for us. Leslie, Thursday we might have to do a specific kneeling balance for all of us. Since you and Sheila were talking about balance over there earlier. Because I'm noticing kneeling on my left knee is not ideal. Very good. Onto all fours. Doing that rotation. Hand behind your back. Lead with your head. Open up the chest. It's not about how far you can go. It's not just pushing yourself. I'm a prime example of not being able to go very far. Still want to keep that back flat. Still want to be turning through the spine segment by segment. Very good. Switch on over to the other side. We'll actually probably only do 4 rotations through all this today. 3, instead of 4. Very good. Down in that side lying alligator. I really just picked this one for the name. Make sure you're still leading with that head, keeping the back as straight as you can. Focusing on your spine and your torso here, instead of focusing on your shoulder. Very good. Switch on over to the other side. Sheila, like you said, this feels good after a day at work where you don't really move out of too many different directions. You move forward, backwards mostly. So these are some good ones that you can do just on the carpet at home if you want to. And then rolling over onto our stomach for a cobra. Pushing through the hands and the shoulders, relaxing the shoulders, opening up as far as you're able. If it's uncomfortable to do it on your hands, go down to a comfort level that's more on your elbows. Do whatever works for you. Very good. Then we'll switch on over, back onto our feet. We'll do it one more time all the way through. Perfect. Side bend, hand up overhead. I don't know about y'all, but I definitely feel it less. Or at least I feel it later, I should say. Go and switch on over to the other side. So part of taking a break for a week, or a relative break, switch over to our hands on our back. But part of taking a relative break is to allow the body to rest and recover. But part of it is also, like doing this kind of stuff, is for it to actually be better at movement. So a lot of these things, like our body, like you said, doesn't really move this way on a daily basis all the time. So it's a good way to just kind of recalibrate the body, get parts of your body that don't talk to each other, get them talking to each other again. So there is method to this, besides just having people in a room moving to make a paycheck. So, toe check, toe excursions here. A lot of this just works on coordination in ways that you've never thought about being coordinated. It's also the same reason that, like, if you took somebody and you just tried to work on hip mobility just by stretching, they get better over time. But if you have them go do hurdles and do hurdling drills where they have to use their hip a lot, go ahead and switch feet. All of a sudden, that hurdler is gaining mobility significantly faster than the person that's just sitting on the ground stretching. And so we're just teaching the body to move in different ways, and we're training it to talk to different parts of its body, of your body, and teaching it to kind of free up. When it doesn't see one section of your body as like this foreign thing, all of a sudden it's a little softer to it, it's a little nicer to it. So then they communicate a little better. Good. Go on that arm raise over here. So pick which side feels worse. And then do the opposite side 10 times. If you ever feel bad at work, so like if you ever move at work and it's like, that felt gross, whether it's like bending over to grab something or it's twisting or something, I encourage you to try to do it the other way 10 times. So if you reach to grab something and that doesn't feel good, try to just twist to your right 10 times and see if it changes it for you. That's the good thing out of this method, is it works pretty quick when it does work. Then we're going to go into our kneeling with our rock. A lot of you may have seen like well-being branded injury prevention worksheets floating around at some of our factories. If not, you'll probably see them sometime. But you'll see a lot of these principles show up there. A lot of the principles of just getting us out of our normal range of motion, like the forward, backwards, and pretty neutral side of things. because neutral is good to prevent injuries. However, when we end up in a bad position, we'd like to have the mobility and strength to handle that, right? Very good. Switch on over to the other side. Really sitting back, keeping that chest up so we're getting that stretch through the hamstring. And keeping that chest up in the front so we're pulling all the way through the abs down into that hip flexor. It's a pretty big misnomer that your hip flexors just live in your hip, but they actually, clearly they cross the hip, but they come all the way up and they attach on your spine. Relatively high up actually on your lumbar spine. So it's good to stay up tall. You're stretching that entire muscle instead of just one specific spot of it. Good. Onto all fours. Hand behind your back. And this one, you can even help pull yourself through with that bottom hand. Good. Switch on over to the other side. Good. Down onto the ground now. When you go home tonight, I challenge each of you to think about when is the last time you moved your shoulder behind your body, and when's the last time that you had to rotate your spine more than just reaching over for your drink off the couch. And I'm not pointing fingers. I'm the same way. I don't do this either. But when you start thinking about it, it's interesting. You don't really twist or move your shoulder. For how many of you is this borderline uncomfortable, especially that first round that we did? Because your body just hasn't done it in so long. Very good. Switch on over to the other side. And then onto your stomach for Cobra. For this one, make sure you're paying attention to that same segment by segment thing that we've been doing for the rotation. So picking your body up, picking your spine off the ground, segment by segment. Trying not just to have all the motion at your hips or all the motion in your shoulders. Try to allow that thoracic spine to move, then that lumbar spine. So thoracic spine is kind of right in your rib cage area. It's what all your ribs connect to in the back. Lumbar spine is the arch at the very bottom of your spine. And then you get to your hips. Oh man, that might be like best mobility ever. You can come teach our yoga class when I start offering that here. I might need to work on some things before we offer it, but I'd happily supervise you leading. Wonderful. That is all we have for today. I know it's not much of a sweat. I know it's not overly hard. You're not going to write home and say, like, man, that was the worst workout ever. But working on some mobility, working on some injury prevention there. And Thursday will be a little bit more moving with some of our balance. And then next week we'll be right back after it with weights and running and all the sweaty things.